So, I have the longer video up of why do polyamorous people want to get married. That's going to be coming up shortly. But here's the short, dirty answer. There is no difference between why monogamous and polyamorous people want to get married most of the time. The same forces come into play. So, what are those reasons? Formalizing a commitment. One of the biggest reasons people want to get married in general is to formalize and officiate their promising to be together. That promise is another big part of why people want to get married. The wedding, the marriage, the commitment ceremony symbolizes a deep level of dedication, of love, of whatever promises this partnership is making to each other. It's a way to say, hey, we're serious, y'all. Let's do this thing. And commitment doesn't look too different from monogamy in that way. Another reason that draws people in is a desire to make those promises in front of a community, in front of their loved ones. It is a ritual, and rituals are part of human psychology. They show up everywhere, from opening a great fancy building by the city government to, your bat mitzvahs, to, oh, you're pregnant, let's have a gender reveal and set a forest on fire. All of those things, right? We ritualize everything, and that forms a function that feels solidifying and grounding for us. These promises we make can also be a way of formally, speaking into existence what we may already feel. Another aspect that people often feel a pressure with, especially in polyamorous communities, is they like marriage. They like the wedding. They've dreamt of the wedding. And especially for those of us who, let's say, are on the left side of the aisle. And I've seen this with my friends. I've seen this with strangers. I've seen this with clients, where sometimes they judge themselves for wanting this very traditional thing. It's not queer enough. It's not punk enough. It doesn't look this way. It doesn't blah, 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 blah. I shouldn't. No, you want it. That's okay. It's a personal choice. That's a big reason. Personal choice. It aligns with your heart. It aligns with your head. Your partner also wants it. Go for it. Loving the concept of marriage is totally cool. Loving the concept of marriage is being who you are. Examine why. Examine what it means for you and be honest with your partner about it, right? That way everybody's on the same page. For some people, this means a relationship escalates or changes. You gotta be honest with yourself. Before you propose to, examine why you want to. If you want to say yes, examine why you want to. Because sometimes we have internalized beliefs about what happens once we're married or after the ceremony that we have not communicated. This is where it can also get messy. If you have a marriage and it turns out you were internally thinking, I thought I was going to be prioritized more. I thought this would be a way they'd never break up with me. I thought this was a way for me to get more time because they would feel obligated by it because they too have some traditional thought patterns. And you need to own it and you need to talk about it because it might turn out your partner, even with traditional thought patterns, even with prioritizing you, is still not going to switch. How? And quite frankly, that can be a problem. And it's okay if it is. But you need to figure out what that means. You can still have a relationship and also realize you don't want to be married, or you have different goals and beliefs about marriage too. The other reason, legal and financial benefits. Hey, I'm American. This girl needs insurance. That's a big reason. Truthfully, that is part of how some of the conversations with my partners have happened is I've had medical issues and they have said, yo, do we need to get married so you can get X, Y, and Z? Not because they don't love me, not because it's willy-nilly, because they were already open to it, but there's a very practical reality. For polyamorous people, for anybody, there is insurance, inheritance rights, tax benefits, protections that make a difference. This is why people fought for the right to marry. When partners are serious about a long-term future together, marriage solidifies that commitment in a tangible legal way. Now, if you're a throuple, if you're a quad, marriage isn't going to do that. You're going to have to go through probably a much longer process if you choose to. You might not. You might not do the legal thing at all. If you do, you're going to have to find a contract lawyer, preferably someone who is familiar with non-monogamy. You're going to have to get things solidified. You're going to have living wills, advance directives. You might have to go around very bigoted family and make a very ironclad agreement, and your partners may still have to fight to be recognized. You might have to legally marry one spouse and then have a commitment ceremony with the other partner in your throuple or quad or whatever. You can also have a legal marriage and then have a ceremony with someone. That can work really well. Sometimes that actually exposes, though, if the marriage ends, some issues in like how you all are thinking about marriage being very different. Work on that. But the legal reason is a big one. Many places don't recognize multiple marriage. So you're going to have to figure that out. But again, all of this is personal choice. You want to get married, your partner wants to get married. It doesn't mean that all of the relationship has to become hierarchy in all ways. If it means that for you, then you need to talk with your fiancé or fiancées, your partners. Your partners have to talk with your metamors, which is their partners. And you have to talk honestly and openly and do the reflection work for yourself. If you're making this choice, I highly, highly encourage you to not make it from insecurity. Don't treat this as a way to lock down a partner. Don't treat this as a way to lock down hierarchy. Don't treat this as a way to lock down priority. One big reason for that is some poly people want to be married and have committed ceremonies with multiple people. Are you okay with that? If so, what if it's someone who they may not live with? You may not live with them, but they are a major priority. What if they want to have kids with that person? What if they want to have kids with that person and not with you? And as problematic as it can be, there might be a whole slew of reasons that y'all are ignoring that will come up as a result. There might be a whole slew of reasons why they want to have kids with you, but it turns out you don't want to have kids with them, or you might want to have kids with them and your other committed partner. What happens if you start off with, I want to raise my child with all of my partners, and then you have your kid and suddenly the reality of an unconventional family and lifestyle kicks in, and this person or people who are like, we are one big happy family and this is our first child, are being told, no, it's me and Kennedy's first child. You're the godparents. And that might work absolutely for someone. For me, that actually would probably work to some degree. But you sure as hell better not expect me to have the same sort of relationship and step in all the time. I just am not that person that's going to be like, well, I'll just act as a second parent. I'll be called the godparent. Not like that. You know, you have to make these personal choices. Be informed, be wise, be intentional. And when you do that, you set yourself up for success. The reason why polyamorous people get married, hell, we want to. This has been a 9-minute video, a little bit longer with the intro and outro, from Clinically Polyamorous, Naturally Black. The podcast version, which is going to be very similar, will be up soon. I'm D. You take care. Drop a comment below. Give us a thumbs up. And I'll catch you later. Smooches.